Hello, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful week of Power 10 Sports Talk. I'm your host, Andrew Gibb, and joining me this week, as always, we have the man that said Tiger Woods proved that cocaine and hookers only ruin your life temporarily, John Sacco, and
Sir.
representing an entire generation, Brady Gibb. All right, and sadly, we are without some of our other co-hosts this week. Some things came up, but right now we want to say give us a like, a comment, a follow, a share on the YouTube, on our Facebook, on our Twitter. That always helps us out, lets us know you guys are watching, and it can keep you up to date with some of the stuff that we have coming out, stuff we have planned. And this is going to be some time we use to give an open invite. High school, college athletes, high school coaches, college coaches, anybody that has any sort of expertise in sports. This is us giving you a shout out. If you want to be on the show, send us a DM on Twitter. Send myself or John or Aaron or Brandon a DM on Facebook saying that you want to be part of the show, and we'll find something that we can have you on for and when we can have you on. We love having our guests on. We very much enjoy it. You guys are going to enjoy it tomorrow whenever we have our guest, Brent Scott.
Definitely. The guests are best part of our show.
Yeah, the guests are what make this show so much fun. But yeah, this is our open invitation to everybody. Send us a DM on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll try and find some time to get you on. Let's get right into the news. Naomi Osaka gets her fourth Grand Slam title in the Australian Open, beat Serena Williams earlier in the week. Is this the changing of the guard for like the greatest of all time in tennis?
The greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time is still Serena
I
Williams.
would say Serena's still the greatest.
Do you mean the greatest of all time handing off the torch, or the torch
passing? We're essentially seeing the
greatest all
changing
time?
of the guard for who the greatest in tennis is, with Serena losing to Naomi twice now. Is this now? Naomi is now going to become the next great, or is it just kind of Serena got unlucky?
I mean, it was a very good match. I don't know if you could say her skills are diminished, but Naomi Osaka is just a really great tennis player. It's great. It's one thing to say that you even have this argument that the changing of the guard is happening. So that's how you know she is a great tennis player. But
yeah,
I still don't see that she's better than Serena Williams at this point.
Yeah, Serena has all of the records and still has the talent. It's not like she just kind of fell over against Naomi whenever they played. It went 6-4. That's pretty close in terms of tennis. So it's not like she's done, like there's no more, but it is one that this girl keeps beating her. So it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, this isn't often that you get to see one-on-one matchups in a sport where somebody is consistently beating the person that is the GOAT. It's kind of even whenever we thought the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, we thought that was the changing of the guard. Mahomes is going to win it. Tom Brady's going to be done. And there's a new GOAT. There's a new GOAT in town. It's going to be Patrick Mahomes. And that ended up not happening. But, I mean, we can see that
GOAT is definitely not the word we should be using here. The greatest of all time. It's number one player in the sport right now. GOAT is Serena Williams.
It's still Serena. But are we going to start to see that change happen?
No.
Right.
But, Andrew, we're forgetting a big piece of news. Carson Wentz to the Colts. What is your take on that?
That's why you wanted to start with tennis.
I love the Colts. I'd like to keep that on record right now. I love my Colts. I love them to death. I hate this trade so much. Still has me pissed. Why? Why did we do it? Doesn't make any sense. We gave up a second and a third for him, and I still think that's too much.
A conditional second, which will become a
second
first.
That could go a first if he plays enough. And I don't think he will. He'll get hurt because he's just a walking medical bill. He's not that good. There's proof of it. They won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, had the same team the next year, and couldn't make it because Carson Wentz isn't good enough.
Yeah, but
I said they're a quarterback away weeks ago, and I didn't realize this would be the quarterback we get. They're going to be a first or second round exit in the playoffs.
He thought he was getting Deshaun Watson.
I thought we could get Deshaun. I thought we could get Stafford.
He's like, the Colts will give up a first round pick for anyone. It's going to be Deshaun. First round pick for Carson.
I thought we could get Stafford. I thought we could even get Dak. I thought maybe that's an option. Dak's on a team that doesn't do a whole lot for him. Colts just need a QB. I'm Dak as a free agent. I'll even go to Indy. No.
He had the
Yeah,
rationale.
Carson Wentz,
right?
stupid
He just
ginger.
had the wrong player.
No, I thought Carson Wentz was the other Dak Prescott.
No,
They're in the
he's a
same. They're just in the
bum.
same division.
He's a dirty ginger bum.
They're both in the NFC East, so
Here, I'll be
Dak
the
didn't
one
They
play
to
thought
this
that
defend
year.
was-
He's the one
to
shining
defend
star
this
of the
trade
NFC
for a
East.
minute. He's reunited with Frank Reich, who was the Eagles OC from 2016 in his best years. The Colts offensive line is much better than Philadelphia's absence of an offensive line. They have weapons at the receiver and now the running back position. Like you said, they were a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl.
They were a good quarterback.
This is an
away.
upgrade. This is an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett.
I don't know about that.
Uh-oh.
Kobe did really good in that year where Luck just decided, hey, I'm going to retire. And Stafford wasn't horrible. The man did also punch a bird out of the air. Let's never forget that. But he's not on that same level. I don't think he has it. I think it's a lot of overhype. I mean, as bad as it is for Indy,
I mean, we do
Philly
forget
took
that he
a
was
$33
playing at
million
an MVP
hit.
candidate level early in that Super Bowl run.
Yeah, I guess. I'm still not liking it.
And he's reunited with the man who, under his system, got him there. So
Yeah. I mean, again, it could be worse. I could be a Philadelphia fan and have just taken a $33 million hit to my cap, trading a player away.
that was
So
my
it
next
could be
point.
worse.
That contract is not as bad knowing Philadelphia takes that cap hit. Not
Yeah. They could
And
have
the
waited
second,
till June
third is-
and not taken as big of a cap hit. If they waited till June 1st, they take $1 million cap hit because of it. But because they did it to start the season off,
And that's
it takes
how, to
$33
me,
million out.
I know they're sticking with Hurts. I think they're
Yeah.
confident in Hurts. That's who they want to hand the keys of the offense to. And they looked much better for it towards the end of the season there.
Yeah. All right. Next bit of news. We still have some football to watch. We actually have two different ways to watch football right now. We have the FCS, which is your Division II, Division III football for North Dakota, South Dakota states, your Ohio Dominicans, your smaller schools. They all get to play. I don't know how much airtime they get, but it's still football that you can look forward to trying to find and watch. And the other one, I'll let John take over about this one because he might have more expertise than I do.
Now, the fan-controlled football league, that's your second way to watch football for those people who don't want to watch Nichols beat McNeese State 84-3 in the FCS. You have a lot of recognizable talent there. You have Quentin Flowers, who was a USF star. You have Johnny Manziel for the Zappers. You have David Pindell, who was a All-American at UConn.
I see. I thought they changed teams every week. Like, essentially, if you were a Zappers fan, you got to redraft your team every week.
Yes, that's what's fascinating about fan control football. The fans get to control this. Everything about the league. It's like playing a Madden franchise. You get to control the team, the roster, and you get to change the rules. So the first week, the way to do extra points, they only play on a 50-yard field indoor, kind of like arena football indoor in a stadium. But it was a 50-yard field, so no extra points, no kickoffs. The way they did extra points is it's a one-on-one matchup in the end zone. Quarterback, receiver, defensive back. If you catch it from the 5-yard line, it's an extra point. If you make it from the 10, it's 2 points.
Huh.
Now,
I did
say
see
the-
they also did, instead of a coin toss, they did rock, paper, scissors.
Rock,
I thought
paper,
that was pretty
scissors, yep.
funny.
Now, say the fans say, that was all right. Let's do something else. They get to vote on how they do extra points next week. Overtimes this week, it could have been a one-on-one battle like extra points. Now, say the fans like, we want to see a sudden death matchup. They just go and they vote. They say, we want to see sudden death. And the commissioners say, okay, sudden death next week. And that can change week 3. That can change week 4. It's going to be a 6-week series. There's 4 teams right now. And the owners, I mean, these are legit players. There's Austin Eckler running back for the Chargers now. There's Marshawn Lynch is an owner for the
Rapper Quavo is an owner.
yeah,
for
Quavo
one.
is the Glacier Boys.
Yeah. Richard Sherman, I think, is
Richard
one
Sherman
of them.
owns the other. I think he owns Wild Aces.
My knowledge is limited. But you're saying, like, essentially an extra point could be Oklahoma drill this week.
Yes.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And I know I saw, like, you can download the app and you can even pick the plays during the game.
Yes, you can pick the plays. That's one of the most exciting parts. Fans get to dial up their own plays. It's literally like playing Madden. And like I said, these aren't your unknowns looking to make a shot. These actually have some name recognition here.
Yeah. All right. Next bit of news: All-Star Game for the NBA got to be announced. We got to know our captains. It's going to be Team LeBron versus Team Kevin Durant. LeBron in his fourth year as a team captain. It'll work.
This
as
is
previous
LeBron's
years.
17th straight All-Star game, correct?
Yes, 17 straight, and then this is his fourth year with this new format as a captain.
Starting since his second year in the league.
Their teams, which is, I think, the best format for an All-Star game, a pro game, whatever you want to call it, where you just have two guys pick. The NFL did it one year with Randy Moss versus Primetime. They picked their teams and they got to play each other, and I'm like, that's how you do it. You have it essentially be backyard football. Or just
All-Star Week
like
for NBA has always been more interesting than the NFL.
It's always the best one.
And the NFL refuses to take notes.
Yeah. But yeah, they're going to have everything condensed for All-Star Weekend, kind of condensed down. We won't get to see the young game with Team USA versus Team World. I think that's the only thing that they're really going to cut that I saw out of all of it. No celebrity game, but we still get the skills challenge and the 3-point challenge pregame. Then we'll have the first half of the NBA All-Star Game, then the dunk contest at half, and then the second half of the All-Star Game, which I guess means that nobody's jumping over a car for the dunk contest this year. That is still the best
I'm hoping, I still love the dunk contest. I hope that doesn't mean that the dunk contest will be limited in any way.
I think that the way they'll do it
it's going to be a crunch on time. Like, I want to see – it always ends too short for me. I'm like, that was it? I want to see at least one more. The only good year was Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon, where it went on like 6 excessive rounds. Not excessive, but extra rounds. Yeah,
that was definitely a top one. My favorite one of all time is Blake Griffin jumping over a Kia.
He jumped over the hood.
It was over the hood, but could you jump over a Kia and dunk a basketball? If I was 6'8", maybe. But yeah, that's something you get to look forward to, I believe, mid-March. And the NBA did also
hoping it's a longer extended halftime, so they don't have to cut this off early. Or if there's 2 great dunks, they say, well, we got 2 minutes till the start of the second. Let's just give it a 50, give the other a 49.
Yeah, and also they announced that they're going to have the second half of their season done soon, so they're going to announce that. We'll get to see. Maybe we'll get to do a Cavs versus Nuggets McNugget challenge for Power 10 this year. I'm afraid to, because the way the Nuggets play against the Cavs, it's like 138 we'd have to be eating.
If anyone would sponsor us, we will do the live stream of us versus the Nuggets.
Yes. If you'd like to sponsor and pay for probably 3 to 5 people eating somewhere in the range of 110 to 130 chicken nuggets in the span of 2 hours, hit us up, hit our line. Next bit of news, Gus Malzahn, the new UCF head coach, 5 years
with
there.
Josh Heupel heading to Tennessee.
Yep. I'm excited for this. I think Malzahn did good at Auburn, and he'll probably do even better at UCF. I think you're in an easier conference now.
Hey, no Power 6 slander.
I'm not trying to slander the American, but I think going from the SEC to the American, the level he had to play, he did very well.
Tuberville.
He did very well in the SEC. And it's just not enough. But now you're going to somewhere where you're with a team that's already good, and your biggest competition is Cincinnati and probably Memphis.
SMU.
And
if Houston ever returns.
But
we don't know what Dana Holgerson's doing there.
Yeah, but still, it's going to be something where I think he's going to be a lot more prepared for this than other.
I think this is a dynamite hire.
It's going to be really tough for the American. I think this is going to help their case for this is competitive. We deserve a spot just as much as everyone else. Is these teams battle it out and they look good doing it, and now you're adding in guys that did coach at other conferences coming in to teams that are good. That's going to make. I just
hope he sticks around and. The American right now has this stigma, this reputation as a stepping stone conference. This is where you groom your coaches for the Texases, the Michigan States. And Luke Fickell staying at Cincinnati has really broken that. We'll see if other coaches jump on that. But when you have a coach heading from Auburn to UCF, it's in the back of your mind that maybe he's just trying to rebuild his
do the 5 years
reputation
here
for
and then
elsewhere,
go back to a Power 5 school.
if not even 5 years. But when Luke Fickell turned down Michigan State and he's turned down other schools, like Vanderbilt, people are starting to realize that just because you're in the SEC doesn't mean it's a better program, doesn't mean it's a better job.
Yeah, because just because you're in the SEC, you could be at Vanderbilt, you could be at Rutgers in the Big Ten, you could be at Kansas in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the bad one is in the Pac-12. I'm trying to think right now. I'm just going through in my head.
Cal,
yeah. Or if you're the ACC, NC State.
NC State was
NC
ranked.
State went around 500.
Maybe Syracuse.
Syracuse probably would be the worst.
That's a basketball school.
Yeah, so just because you're in a Power 5 school does not necessarily mean you're good. It just kind of means...
I would say the top of the American right now is better a job than at least
the bottom half of
25.
any Power 5. Yeah.
Exactly. 25 of those Power 5 teams.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 or 40.
Yeah, and I guess we'll get to see. I'm hopeful that he'll have a good career there, and it'll make the American more competitive and possibly lead to a playoff spot for a Group of 5 team.
That last season was one of the Americans' best season, where you have SMU, Tulsa, and Cincinnati all ranked and Navy all ranked around the same time throughout the season. Throw in a Memphis that was okay, and then if UCF had a semi-off year, 10-3, I believe, or 9-3.
Yeah, they were still all right.
Now, if he can get them back to undefeated, playing at the level of Cincinnati, and no one else drops off, you're already the third best conference. I'm going to say you're better than the Pac-12. Yes. You're better than the Big 12, and you might be better top down than the ACC. Yeah,
that's completely possible. Next bit of news: Jaylen Johnson opts out of the 2021 college basketball season. He was at Duke. It could have been issues that he had with some coaching. We don't know. But right now, I think for him, I went to a school that has been amazing at basketball for years, has always been the top dog, and now they are a 500 team. And it's kind of, all right, there's issues with coaching. There's issues with how the media treats me. I'm just going to opt out and go to the NBA. All I have to do is be 1 year removed from college, so might as well go train separately. Guys do that. They'll go to the G League. They'll go to Australia. And it seems like
you
basketball
have people like
dying.
Darius Bazley who just took an internship with Nike.
Yeah. LaMelo Ball, who went to Australia to play. And is it really beneficial
LaMelo
to
Ball
go to
right now? He's going to win Rookie of the Year now.
The way it looks, he'll win Rookie of the Year. I will say I'm eating my words. I didn't think that he'd be as good as what he is. He is showing that he is an NBA talent. I told you he would. But it's one of those
Since this man is starting, he's averaging 26 a game, 26, 8 and 8.
And that's very impressive. But I don't see the appeal to even going and playing a year in college anymore. You can go to the G League, you can go to Australia, you can go anywhere else, play for a year, get paid to do it, and then go pro. Where like college, it's like you don't get paid. You're having a lot more media criticism about anything you do. And it's like, well, I don't care. I'm here for a year. And I think the one and done rule is it's hurting college basketball.
If you can
more
go
than I think
straight
than what
to
they
the
think.
G League, I mean, you're playing against actual NBA players. I mean, not NBA players, but
they're
professional players.
Yeah.
You're honing your talent, I think, more so than you would in a college environment. And unless you go to the premier coaches in the league who can really groom your talent, you're also playing with professional coaches who have been around the league, who know organizations and can really work you in a system.
Yeah, exactly. Next bit of news. 3-time Pro Bowler Vincent Jackson did die Monday unexpectedly in a hotel room. I don't know what the cause of death is. He is donating his brain to science. So thoughts and prayers with his family as they try and figure this out. It definitely is
way too many NFL deaths right now.
Yeah, I saw it and I was like, in the last and needed to think for a sec.
I mean, we just had 2 on the last show, Marty Schaumenheimer and Therese Paylor.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so odd to be seeing so many names passing.
Mhm.
And
And what we forgot, more college basketball news, the NCAA announced that they do increase the fan capacity to 25%.
yeah, I did see that. I forgot to put that in my notes. So yeah, we do get to see in March Madness. We will see some fans in the stands in Indianapolis.
Which is great to see. I
Yes.
don't
Is it
know if
just
it's the
friends and
best right
family,
now,
or is
but
it I can buy tickets to go see a game?
I believe you can go buy tickets, which I don't know if that's a good idea, especially because it's March Madness and you have 2 days between your game. And if you have a positive test, there's no time to postpone that game. You
a positive
cannot
test
cancel these games.
will monkey wrench that entire tournament.
Mhm.
But who knows? Maybe it's just friends and family, and it's people that are close, and it's at least helping with that. The biggest issue I think is going to end up being not being positive tests or within teams. It's going to be contact tracing with somebody near the team.
We saw how that played towards the second half
look
of
at
the
Kevin
NFL
Durant,
season,
where
the currently NBA right now.
But yeah, where you're having an incident where some kid from Ohio State was around his mom who tests positive. So now he has to go away. And because of who he's around during practice and he was near someone with a positive test, they also all have to sit out. And
Yeah,
before you know
secondhand
it,
positive tests have to sit out. And
everyone from Ohio State has to sit out because of contact tracing. There was no
now
positive
you
test.
play that game and say Ohio State happens to lose on, they're playing Thursdays, right? Or no? They're playing
Friday, Saturday is the first set.
Yeah. So they lose Friday, and the team that beat them now also has to sit out because that's a secondhand exposure. Yeah. And what are they doing Sunday, Monday?
Yeah, as it now they have to play, they get a bye or like they have to take a forfeit. It's going to be very confusing. Hopefully it goes well and there's nothing that happens. It's
even if you cut that quarantine period in half from 2 weeks to 1 week, or even 5 days, you still have to. That's cutting into your next game.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's something that hopefully doesn't become an issue, but it probably will be.
I think what's fascinating is the NBA figured it out with the bubble.
Yeah, their bubble worked out perfectly. The NHL bubble worked out perfectly.
And 16 games, and they didn't go back to it, and no other sports league has adopted it since.
NHL did the bubble at the same time, and theirs
at the same time, but no one's. Are they doing it again?
I believe they're planning on doing Stanley Cup playoffs also in a bubble. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's something that.
But yeah, no league has done it since.
And basketball are doing right. NFL kind of did nothing.
MLB refused to do it.
Baseball
NFL
ended up having huge issues with it. Not with positive cases, but with guys just like, I'm not going to listen.
And the NFL had a huge issue with it. We saw the Steelers-Ravens game. We saw how the
Steelers-Titans
messed
game.
with the Browns. Yep, Steelers-Titans game as well. The how it messed with the Browns postseason, the end of their season.
Yeah. So it is something that, like, I think maybe, again, it could be they're bubbling and it's only friends and family, and it could just be the best solution for some of these people. Again, hoping it works out. I always love the first 4 days of March Madness where I just get to watch basketball all day. But and our next bit of news, Fernando Tatis Jr. gets a $340 million contract for the next 14 years. He now becomes the third highest player in MLB behind Mike Trout and Mookie Betts. But to put this in perspective, what he will make yearly would put him at 47th in the NBA, in between Buddy Hield and LaMarcus Aldridge. And that's such an odd thing to think that, like, he's making this much money, and yeah, it's a long time span, but you're in with guys that probably won't even get AllStar Game invites that are probably making just as much. Yeah, so as a parent, you have to be thinking, like, as you see this news, man, should I have my kid going to the NBA? Man, that seems to be where all of the money's at. Yeah, MLB.
But Buddy Hield could be out of the league in 3 years after this contract. Yeah. At least you're getting paid for 14.
Yeah, for the next 14 years of your life.
I'd have $340 million after 14 years, or $14 million after 1 year.
Yeah. And that is definitely a big factor of, like, these NBA guys could be on a 4-year contract that's just slightly above. Yeah, Buddy Hield could be slightly higher, and he's on the last year of his 4-year contract and he's done after this, but it's still an odd thing to think that like per year he's going to be making less than most quality NBA players, and he's one of the best in MLB right now.
He is my favorite MLB player right now. He's making the game fun again.
Absolutely.
Almost single-handedly.
And our last bit of news for today, a little bit of speculation. Drew Brees is coming back to the NFL for another year.
LASIK Jameis has to be put on hold for one more year.
Yeah, like he said he's going to come back for another season. We'll find out. If I'm New Orleans, I wouldn't take it. Much like how if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm not re-signing Big Ben. At this point, age has to be a big factor in that you couldn't win with him now. Put another year and an off season on their body. I don't think they're going to get you any further now.
No, especially towards the last few games of the season, you really see how bad Drew Brees was.
Yeah.
If you re-sign him, he has to be a player coach. I'm not playing. I'm not starting him.
He's your backup just to give insight.
I understand what he's done for your franchise, but I really don't think you owe anyone that loyalty if you're trying to win, especially the Saints who should be trying to win now.
Yeah. With how young and talented the team is, you are not in a situation where it's like, bring back your 43-year-old QB.
And you are not in the cap space situation to say, okay,
to be giving away
let him
money
play
like
out this season, and we'll go for it next season.
Yeah, another one, Big Ben. It's the owner, the GM, Mike Tomlin, and Big Ben apparently had a meeting, and they said, as of today, Big Ben is still Pittsburgh Steeler. And that's something that didn't make sense. And I would love to hear from Pittsburgh fans in our comments what they think. But you're now talking about a guy that is not the same Big Ben that he was 10 years ago. This is now
he's not the Big Ben he was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that he's lost a lot of mobility. His arm strength isn't the same. He doesn't have any run game to help support him, so he's throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game and wearing out an arm that already got hurt a season ago off of a throw. It's a tough situation. I think Pittsburgh, is the loyalty really worth it to have another year? And we've seen how Pittsburgh fans are. This is not me trying to call out Pittsburgh fans. Whenever they lose, they seem to get real quick on the fire Mike Tomlin. Everything needs to change, even though you're 11-1.
No, I have not seen a Steelers fan blame Big Ben yet. It has been, we need to fire Mike Tomlin. We need to fire all these receivers, get some talented receivers in. It's the defense. It's the coaching.
Yeah. It's not blame the defense is doing good. Not Tomlin, who's always had a winning season. It's not these young receivers. It's Big Ben at this point. That I think it's a realization that everyone needs to come to.
Yes, he's not your only problem.
He's not your guy anymore. I think at this
is
point,
a team that has some talent. You have good young receivers. You have Chase Claypool, Juju Smith, James Washington is even a solid player. Aside from the drops late in the season, that's a good young core. You can plug in a quarterback with a talented quarterback, not Mason Rudolph, a talented quarterback.
Yeah.
And you should be able to. That's a playoff team with how well that defense is playing. Take
your draft pick this year, trade it for maybe 5 or 6 spots up, and take Mac Jones. He's very much built similar to Big Ben. I think he has a play style kind of similar to him. So at this point, you're getting essentially what young Big Ben was. He was mobile. He had an arm. And I think he has the size. And that's the 3 big things about Big Ben back in the day that made him so he was 6'8" and could run the ball. And now it's kind of like, well, Dwayne Haskins is the backup. And it's like, you're not in a better situation for this. Haskins is a decent backup if you need him, but we even saw Taylor Heineke look better than him, and he was a nobody prior to now.
Hey, Taylor Heineke was on the Panthers for a long time, and I loved him. He was a great backup for Cam.
He got re-signed to Washington. Good for him. Shout out. I wish him the best. I hope he is the future of that team after how he almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. And that is not an easy thing to do.
He put up more points on that Tampa Bay defense than Patrick Mahomes did.
Exactly.
I think it's time we have this conversation.
that Taylor Heineke looked better than Patrick Mahomes.
And don't tell me about that Chiefs offensive line, because have you seen Washington's offensive line?
Yeah, exactly. And what is it? The targets? You still have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Heineke had McLaurin and Steve Sims Jr.
Yes, Sims. Very good players, but no.
Yeah,
Kelce
I would
and
still
Hill.
rather have the two from Kansas City.
Mhm.
If I'm any team, I'd rather have the two from Kansas City than anyone else. But that's all we have for this show. I don't think there's any more news for us to talk about. Remember to leave us a like, comment, share this video with your friends, give us a subscribe. Everything you guys do helps us out. We do have some upcoming surprises in the coming weeks that we'll release on the Facebook and Twitter. If you follow that, you'll be the first ones to find out. Remember to tune in tomorrow whenever we have Brent Scott from Power Slam Wrestling on. He is a hilarious guy that me and Brady got to meet a couple days ago. Great guy. It is going to be a great interview, so remember to stay tuned in for that. And again, remember, open invite for any high school, college athletes, high school, college coaches, anybody in the sports world that wants on the show. Send us a DM, and we'll find some time to get you on. But thank you for tuning in.